So, breaking news update for you folks, and it's one that will evoke plenty of mixed emotions in you, and that is because the Indian men's badminton team have settled for a silver medal in the men's team event. Now, why it is that I'm saying it's a mixed feeling, really, because on one hand, if you're looking at just the pure raw numbers, the fact that they ended up getting the silver medal, this is actually their best ever showing at the Asian Games. You heard that right. This is the best showing by the men's badminton team in the history of the Asian Games and their first ever medal since 1986. So, obviously, there is, let's say, plenty of positives to look at it in that regard. Unfortunately, the main reason why I call this a bit of a mixed feeling as far as this, well, triumph, if you want to call it that, is concerned, is that at one point India looked set to win the gold medal. And they were leading the five match team series 2-0. They were 2-0 up with three matches left. But unfortunately, inexperience and missing out on one very crucial player on the given day meant that India unfortunately had to settle for a silver medal. Now, there were two major factors in this. As I said, one was, of course, the fact that India were hamstrung by an injury to one HS Pranoy. Pranoy was ruled out of the event just earlier today. There had been a news alert coming through that he would not be able to participate due to an injury, and that was really, you can say, a major dent to India's hopes. Because if you're looking at who were the people you were expecting to potentially get you that win, there were really four, let's say, guaranteed, or four of your strongest. Three of them were in the singles. That was, of course, Lakshya Sen, Kidambi Shrikant, HS Pranoy, and of course the doubles duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty. So these were the, of course, four events where you realistically said you stood the best chance of winning. But once Pranoy was ruled out with an injury, then the onus increased significantly on Lakshya Sen, Kidambi Shrikant, and the duo of Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty. Now, the good news was that the first two matches that you played out, you had Lakshya Sen, who of course won a very, very hard fought, first round. He won it in the end after forcing things into the decider. So he won that. Thereafter, Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty also ended up getting, the win in their doubles bout. So at that point, India were favorites. It was just a matter of one more win and sealing the gold medal. Unfortunately, and this is really where, you can say that India's lack of a plan B or an insurance policy of sorts suffered, was the fact that Kidambi Shrikant ended up losing out rather badly. Now, of course, the first game that took place, he did kind of end up putting out a massive fight. In fact, Kidambi was really in things as far as the early going was concerned, because in the early round, he actually did take things pretty deep. And unfortunately, but once he lost the second, thereafter there was no turning back. And unfortunately, once he lost, you knew that it was really going to be a uphill task for the players that were coming thereafter. Because the problem was at that point a lack of experience, proven athletes or proven competitors at that level. You didn't really have that, because the fourth game was contested by the doubles duo of Dhruv Kapila and Sai Pratik. They were absolutely, fed to the wolves, and they unfortunately ended up losing out rather heavily. In fact, the first game that they lost by a margin of 21-6. That's not that's a comprehensive, or as comprehensive a defeat as you can get. And in fact, thereafter there was plenty of pressure then on Mithun Manjunath, of course, also very inexperienced, very young, someone who doubtless does seem to possess the tools to become a good badminton player, but right now was nowhere near, let's say, ready for to being competing at this level. And not just competing at this level, contesting a match that was a must win with all the momentum at that point going against India. Unfortunately, Manjunath also ended up losing out in this game in the last match. He ended up losing out, and in fact it was so bad that in the second round, in the second game that was played, he was 1-11 behind at the break. So it was in fact boys versus versus men after, Kidambi Shrikant ended up losing his match. And I think, there is, let's say, a lot of people would say that it's a tough situation to be in. But the simple fact of the matter was at that point, Kidambi Shrikant needed to do better than he did. Once he was done with the first game, it was abject surrender thereafter. And it was quite frankly not a good showing from someone who, lest we forget, is a former world number one in the sport of badminton. Yes, his form in recent times has been up and down, but his experience and guile was a key reason why India ended up winning. You'd remember the Thomas Cup glory as well. He was very, very good in that. And unfortunately, in this particular event as well, he didn't really step up. In the Thomas Cup, he had done well. Here, though, once he lost, then at that point you knew it was very much an uphill task for India. You needed heroes. In fact, you really needed HS Prannoy at that point. But because Prannoy wasn't available through an injury, you had inexperienced players step up in Mithun Manjunath as well as the doubles duo. And it was just too much for them to do. It was too big a mountain to climb. So India get the silver, as I said. It's a mixed feeling because the silver is the best ever performance by the men's badminton team in the history of the Asian Games. But it so easily could have also been a gold medal, and that is what is a little bit heartbreaking. Nevertheless, silver medal it is for India, and the medal tally count goes up. That is the breaking news update from us. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you enjoyed our video, if you enjoyed the work that we do, please don't forget that, let's say you can if you enjoy our work, please don't forget. In fact, I'll take some comments before I leave. There seem to be a few coming. Let's say there's Manik Biswas who says that Kidambi should have won game 2. Yes, once he lost that, then the match looked over. And Siddharth is also mentioning, not the Siddharth we have sitting here, another Siddharth who's a commenter, saying that the commentators just keep on mentioning that India must actually be happy with a silver medal, but we are not really minnows in badminton. I do agree, Siddharth, but the problem was that once you lost HS Prannoy through injury, you were really heavily dependent on the trio of Kidambi Shrikant, Lakshya Sen, and of course the doubles duo of Satvik Sairaj, Ranki Reddy, as well as Chirag Shetty. Satchi, the duo, and Lakshya Sen did in fact do their bit. Kidambi Shrikant, on the other hand, ended up disappointing a little bit, but that is the nature of elite level sport, and China are no mugs at this level when it comes to badminton either. So that's the breaking news update for you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget, if you enjoy our work, like, share, subscribe, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app. And if you're already on the channel, go right ahead. Check out some other videos that we have, in fact, done through the day. For now, though, from my side, it's bye-bye.